I hated World of Warcraft until I played it on controller. So how could I possibly hate a 20-year-old game? Well, to get to that, we have to start from the beginning. How did I start? It all began with my brother's friend. One day we were playing ESO. The next, well, he really wanted us to play World of Warcraft, saying that it is the pinnacle of the MMO experience. But there was a big stigma to World of Warcraft that I always had, the neckbeards. No, seriously, in school, and specifically in middle school, I remember we watched an article about how World of Warcraft and gaming changed the world. People were getting married in this game and it had such a strong cult following. And honestly, low-key, piqued my interest. Unfortunately, well, that school was ghetto as hell, and if you liked any sort of World of Warcraft anime or anything of the like I did, you would be relentlessly bullied. Luckily for me, or maybe unluckily, I, as the kids say, was a crash out. So I wasn't getting bullied, but I also wanted to be cool. Yeah, I wish I'd never cared, because then I would have started YouTube way earlier, considering my success so far. So back to my brother's friend. Back then, World of Warcraft, I believe, was in Shadowlands or something like that. I think the max level was about 120. It honestly sounded like a lot, and I didn't know, and my brother didn't know if we really wanted to do it. But his friend was so adamant about us playing, the man bought us the game. Literally, expansion, subscription, like it just went full out for us to try it. And try it we did. But here's the problem. We didn't start leveling anew. We used the character boost. And well, let me just say, when you get boosted and don't know what the heck is going on in World of Warcraft, it is quite possibly the worst possible experience you could ever have. But the man started the itch, and so I had to scratch it. And a few months later, I decided let's try the game again, this time as an orc warrior. Of course, I only got to level 20 before I gave up on that as well. I'm not too sure the reasoning. I just remember I tried it a bit again and it was kind of cool. I was figuring things out and then I just kind of stopped. I think the main reason was that I didn't understand the lore. There's 20 years worth of lore. It's crazy. I didn't know what was going on, and a big part of me liking a game is just trying to understand what's happening. This then led us to the third attempt, and you all know, the third time's the charm, right? Well, it was. At this point, World of Warcraft was getting a little amped up because of Dragonflight. I was hearing so much good news, and I said, hey, you know what? Let's try it. And try it I did, and god damn did I go ham. I went all the way to level 70. I sweated my back off, going ham every day, leveling, which honestly, it kind of backfired because then I got burnt out from leveling. And then I reached endgame. The biggest hurdle came, and that was I have no idea what to do. I did not know where to go from there. For some reason, when I tried watching YouTube videos on what to do, it got even more confusing, and so I kind of just dropped it after that. So now we're here in the War Within expansion. After a few years, well, I'm a YouTuber now. Yay! But not only that, I've been playing all kinds of games. The most recent one was ESO. Well, hitting the MMO genre, I guess the most natural progression would be to go to World of Warcraft. So I said to myself, let's do this. But one of the biggest hurdles recently was the fact that I can't really use mouse and keyboard. I can, just not as long and often as others because, well, my hands are bitch made. I mean, there's not much else to say. And so I was like, okay, if we're gonna play World of Warcraft, there has to be a way to play on controller, right? This is how it all began. By the way, if you can't tell, I am extremely sick right now, and I have been for the past week, so that also didn't help with the upload schedule. If you like this video and would like to support me in all my endeavors, please comment, like, and subscribe. First of all, I can't hear out of both ears, so I do have to read what you say. But no, seriously, my chest hurts so bad. And me talking and doing this narration is probably not the smartest idea, but we're doing it for the fans, so why not? So as is tradition, we started World of Warcraft. And you know how this goes. I have to start new game. And not only do I have to start new game, but I have to like my character, give them some sort of background, love the name, and actually enjoy the gameplay. And well, dude, why do I hate myself? This just ridiculous. This is worse than ESO by a long shot. I played for about a week straight, leveling up every single kind of character, looking at every single server, and just trying to figure out where I want to play. It was a disaster. I touched everything from warrior to mage, rogue, hunters, everything, and I could not figure out what I wanted to do. And not only was that an issue, the name. Why why was I struggling with the name? Every name I gave my character was horrible. I was not feeling any of the names. It was honestly just straight up trash. And so I kept deleting, making new characters, leveling up a few more times, realizing I hate my life, not understanding why I'm doing this, and wondering if I should just quit before it's too late. Luckily, before I lost my mind any further, I ran onto the article that, stated everything was cross-faction, cross-server, cross basically everything. None of that shit mattered anymore, and so I was like, hey, you know what? I had to make a real big decision. Do I want to play on a roleplay server? Which personally, I have played in the past if you look at my old videos with Withermind, way in the beginning of my channel. And so I was like, I really want to play roleplay server, but there wasn't a Horde roleplay server. Or there is, but it's trash and it doesn't really exist. And also, what the fuck? When I joined it, literally the first thing people were arguing about in chat was a person who liked retro aging. What the hell? What the No, I didn't even want to get into it. It had probably some PDF file stuff, and I was just not dealing with it. So I immediately said, you know what, never mind, I'm going to Area 52 and we're going to call it a day. But also the reason why I started in Area 52 was because of this singular interaction.
Well, friend.
Whoa. Yeah. Oh. Are you sure? Hell yeah. Thanks, man. Oh! What the fuck was that? That was cool. Came down like goddamn Moses. He said, poor orc. 500 gold for you.
So Draxus, if you ever see this video, you are the man, or woman, I don't discriminate. With about 6 minutes of exposition and an understanding of why I hated the game and also how I even started it, let's begin the adventure. In choosing a main character, it came down to two things that I really wanted. One, I wanted to bonk shit in the head. Very zug of me. I learned that word. And for two, I wanted to shoot spells. With the many choices we had, the shaman fit the bill pretty damn well. It also has a healing spec, but that's kind of scary. I know, I mained healing in ESO, but I'll be honest with you, WoW healing is terrifying, especially on control. And with that out the way, even though I wanted the Magar orc, we had to settle for the orc for now. Now I gotta admit, my orcs are smexy. I mean, who wouldn't want this green hulking son of a bitch? In all reality, it just came down to the name, and sure enough, I got one. His name is Kurikawedi. That's right. That is my shaman orc's name. Strong and mighty. And he probably has a long, lengthy, strong totem. Yeah, what the hell were you guys thinking? We started on the race starter zone, messed around with my spell book and started slotting things into the correct order the way I want it to be done in the controller. Realized the level and experience was not going to be the same as classic. Still read everything though. And it looks better. I mean, let's be honest, this new UI for reading? Way doper. We started hunting down some 5-0, killed some scorpions, and the Scorpion King. Also, he got stabbed in the stomach. Bonked some of the slow ones, which to be fair, I don't think that's gonna help their condition. But I did it anyway, so get back to work. Kept gaining new abilities and made sure to read the description to see how they interact with each other. Killed what I could only assume is the worst warlock in existence.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
I quickly finished up Valley of Trials and showed that I was in fact triumphant, strong, and not weak. Send me out there, boss. Oh, actually, I won't lie, when I reached Senjin Village, there were some apparent struggles. For one, controller and the Baganator add-on do not mix well. I will tell you that right now. You are better off as a controller player using Baganator. That worked 100% and I did not find that out till way later. If you see me trying to scroll around, I look like an idiot, and sometimes when you scroll on the Xbox controller, it randomly just stops at a page and then just won't let you and you have to use the mouse and keyboard. It was probably one of the most super annoying things, and to be honest, it wasn't until I added that add-on where it started fixing a lot of those problems. One of the other issues I saw and noticed was getting used to the radial wheel and also just bringing up your inventory. Usually that's just right trigger A and then you just scroll around and then you go into inventory, group finder, whatever you need. But when you press LT, RT, which is, just pressing the two right triggers down and you press A, it comes out with the radial menu, which you can then add other utility spells, mounts, and it's just like a fast, quick slot way of doing things. Honestly, it reminds me of Monster Hunter, so I actually didn't mind it too much and started getting used to it later on. But in the beginning, the amount of times I would click into my inventory when I was trying to fight something was ridiculous. Take that with a grain of salt. It takes a while to get used to those controllers, but once you start getting it down, it starts feeling smoother. Soon enough, I hit level 10 and off we went to Agrimar. Why? Because, well, I was in fact not going to do the lore side of doing everything. That's just not going to happen. There's a shit ton of content, and I said, yeah, no, I'm good. I flew over there and we started Dragonflight. Dragonflight, where big titty MILF mommy dragons exist, and also I swear I've seen you. Yeah, Dragonflight was honestly where you started just leveling up like crazy. If you did quests and killed a lot of creatures out there, it really wasn't hard. What was becoming harder and harder as we leveled up was managing the amount of skills we had. Alright, first of all, I did not realize that the shaman came with a piano level amount of skills that you're gonna have to juggle. And so, truthfully, it put my learning to the max with the controller and understanding what I should put where and when I should activate certain things, and getting used to not only the front bar, because again, it's almost like if you're pressing shift, but when you press LT, it brings up new abilities. When you press right trigger, it brings up new abilities. And when you press LT, RT, it brings up even more. So you had to really understand all your bars or else shit just gets chaotic. And luckily, with us taking it slowly and just leveling up the way we did, it was perfect in not only learning the control, but we learned the class very well. And to be honest with you, when we started our first dungeon, I wasn't expecting it to go as smoothly as it did. There were some nuances there that I found out later, how to better target enemies and when to untarget things. I didn't know how to untarget for the longest time. And yeah, I mean, you can even see here, I was not doing the worst in damage. I mean, granted, low level scale up with their damage, but regardless, it felt pretty good. Soon enough, after much experience, more levels, and getting a better understanding of how these abilities synchronize with one another, I started pumping. I felt smooth, good, and I wasn't afraid to do dungeons anymore. It really was not scary. And so I thought to myself, when I reach endgame, would it be possible to actually raid and do Mythic Plus at a high level? Whoa, slow down there, buddy. Seriously, it was gonna take a while to get to it, especially the way we were leveling. I was trying to play a lot, and to be honest, I was putting about 3 to 5 hours on weekdays, and on weekends, I was probably playing like 8-10 hours. So I was putting my time in this game. And sure enough, it was starting to show. As we kept going through the Dragonflight expansion, saving baby dragons, killing big troll things, facing that big ass dragon, and well, I mean, look at the MILF mommy. We got to a point where even though I was questing and reading stuff, I was getting exhausted. Good lord, this leveling experience is not nearly as fun as I would have thought, especially coming back and trying it after so many attempts previously. So I low-key kinda started skimping on some quests and reading, my bad. But it's fine, because sooner rather than later, your boy was hitting some big levels. And I mean big, goddamn, dude, we have so many abilities. I wasn't looking at any guides, leveling guides, nothing. I wanted to start fresh, new, and learn everything. And I was, and it was really great. I would highly recommend that for any new player that comes playing World of Warcraft. Just pick something, if you like it, play it all the way through and see what happens. With so many new levels gotten, it was time for me to do something. I headed off to Agrimar and visited the embassy. That's right, it's time for me to collect all the ally races. First of all, back when I played this game, I had to farm for the goddamn squirrel and this big ass troll. And I'll tell you something right here, that shit sucked. I genuinely had a tough time trying to figure out how to do everything. Sure enough, with a lot of ganas and grit, I made sure to get the Magar orcs, which I loved, and I also regretted that we were not able to be a Magar orc, but at least we have him now. I might level boost him. Or should I make my now orc into a Magar orc? What do you guys think? Comment down below. The second one was the big moose. That's right, the moose cows, or bulls. Moose bulls? Bull moose. Whatever the hell they are. This quest, I'm sorry, but what the hell? It was kind of bugged out because I was trying to use the abilities it told me to use, and when I used it, I tickled their balls. Like, they were giggling as I was trying to kill them. It was terrible. And of course, some guy swoops in here, destroys everything, and as I was trying to do some damage and see if I can mooch off of him, well, the bastard did not do that and leaped out of nowhere. Alright, well, I guess I'm fucked anyways. So yeah, that took forever, but the cows levels were actually rather simple to do, not too difficult, completely easier than Magar orcs. And then we managed to get both of them. My leveling did take a small detour, reason being I was getting exhausted from questing. I really was trying my best, but good lord, there was just nothing but quest after quest. It was eating my ass up. I was like, hey, let's play a new class. Maybe the monotony might change a little bit. And it did, to be fair. We created a balanced druid, and I kind of like him. To break up the monotony, the other way was also dungeons, and especially when you have badass people, because these death knights, god damn, dude, this one guy was just pumping. Like, I couldn't even keep up at all, but hey, it was dope as hell. We sure as hell leveled up to level 70. Hell yeah. Of course, at this time, I was also still a free player. Well, not free player, but I paid the subscription, just never bought the expansion. I didn't know if I was actually going to make it to 70. We began the war within, and let me tell you, I did not expect the amount of cutscenes. I completely forgot about cutscenes in this game, but they were fun to watch. Granted, I had no clue what anybody or who anybody was, but hey, I mean, elf girl sees mage homie die, or maybe die, kidnapped, who knows, honestly. Mage girl is also kind of mad. She's also an archer, so mage archer? Where's that in the game? They 9/11 the shit out of this goddamn building, like good lord. Also, if you have arachnophobia, this is not your expansion. Since I reached level 70, I said to myself, hey buddy, do you think it's time that we actually learn our class? Well, I tried, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it killed my mood pretty fast. When I was trying to meta everything, it was destroying my mental capacity, and I had to take a break for about like a day. But I was willing to push through. I said, I'm gonna make this damn video, and the viewers are gonna understand that if you put some effort, if you really sit down and learn, things will become easy. Because if you quit in life early every time there's an inconvenience, are you ever gonna succeed? No. And so I said, you know what? Let's do this. It's only a game. It's for fun, but it helps my team. And why wouldn't I want to be the perfect DPS? Instead of the one who's dying left and right, looking like an idiot. And so that we did. And to be honest, luckily, it turns out that Wowhead and Icy Veins, their builds are not bad, so I just kind of looked at what I had to do. And after a while of just diagnosing all the abilities and trying to figure out the rotation, I kind of understood it, but as always, its best use is to be put in practice. And that's the way I was learning. Albeit, I still was not great, and it took way longer than I wanted it to. But I did reach a point where I was able to see a substantial amount of DPS increase, especially as we were leveling from 70 to 80, as we managed to get this middle tree here that gives us more abilities. Also, Editor John, you did not hear this, but I quite literally coughed out my lung after this long 1 hour amount of, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. My body is giving out, but just put this in the video so everyone knows my pain. Anyways, yeah, you can see me trying to figure out where to place everything. There's so many damn spells, dude. Holy shit. I swear, if I switch classes and it becomes a billion times easier, I'm gonna enjoy WoW even more. The game introduced us to Nomergon. No, I'm gonna malfunction. Anyways, there's a bunch of gnomes. The city looks dope as hell. It's all big. There's even more of the map. My brain can't fathom World of War. It is so huge. Like, sounds like I'm describing the glizzy, but seriously, honestly, it's glorious. It's insane. I cannot compare it to any other game. I love that you can start hearing where I start getting sick throughout the series. It starts off with me strong, healthy, and it's just kind of funny that, you know, you start World of Warcraft healthy and you end World of Warcraft in the worst state of your life. Remember when I said I was pumping little baby numbers? Well, the numbers are pumping. I feel happy and glad. Sometimes I'm literally #1. Other times, if people are better, I can maybe scooch out a #2. And if they're really, really damn good, I just try my best to keep up and not die. Also, is it just me, or does anybody want to play like an arachnid faction? I kind of want to play as spider people. Can that happen? Anyways, at this point you might be wondering, all right, John, you've basically reached the latter half of the leveling journey. How does it feel on controller? At this point, my muscle memory had kicked in quite a bit. There were still some issues where I was, you know, clicking radio wheels, or just the inputs weren't inputting at the correct order when I would do it, especially if I did it way too fast. So that was sometimes a problem. I still sometimes struggle to know where I put stuff, especially if I don't use totems and whatever else, water walking or my wolf form. That actually improves later down the road, and I'll show it when I'm doing delves, because as I was doing delves, delves, of course, the higher level the delve became, the more I realized that I had to use my defensives and my interruptions and just everything in the freaking book, because that was the only way I was able to solo the delves. And I had like 570, no, maybe not 570, but maybe like 550 eye level, and I was taking on like delve 4s, 5, 6, 7. There came a point where I did hit a wall and I was starting to need some help, and some people wouldn't join because, you know, they see a low eye level, but I was like, hey, you know, I did this before. Luckily we did manage to get someone. But yeah, control felt really well. Once you get those little tricks down on the controller, it just feels so fun. Like, I can sit back and play World of Warcraft endlessly. I don't feel any strain in my hands. The questing is seamless. It looks better with the new UI. It genuinely feels like a whole new game to me, and being able to scroll through everything with the controller just feels great. Of course, every now and then, you know, you have to actually use the little inputs to use the mouse and keyboard, or specifically the mouse, but you get used to it and it doesn't become a problem. The only issue at this point is when I tried going to the trade house, it for whatever reason would not click on things I was clicking when I would use the control, so I actually have to use the mouse and keyboard. That's the only and singular time that I've noticed where I won't be able to use the controller. But I'm gonna be honest with you, if I'm in the freaking guild trader, when I'm trading there, I mean, to be honest, you don't really need anything. You just kind of scroll through anyways, so that's perfectly fine. Combat and controller felt way more refined. It was really fun to use. I will honestly say that if you play a melee spec, you will have a fun time on controller. If you're playing a mage, it's not the worst, but there are some little things that you have to kind of adjust to, but you know, it's not also terrible either. And to be honest, I haven't used this yet on myself, but macros, I did think of some ideas for macros for my shaman that I think would personally work well with the controller, but there's also that you can really utilize, so it just activates things. And yeah, just overall everything was at this point pretty smooth, and I've kind of proven to myself that you can do the content. Like, nothing should be holding you back. At the end of the day, it is going to be you. If you do not like controller, if you do not like playing the way you're playing, or if you do not like your class, or just about anything in life, but if you don't keep pushing forward and just quit, you're honestly not going to improve. So your progress stops there and dies. I kept going. There were some times where I genuinely wanted to stop because I wanted to play something else, or because I wanted to level something else, or because I wanted to play classic. And I kept reminding myself of what my goal was for this game, and it was to reach level 80. And level 80, we did. Also, we kept going further into the story, even though questing was killing me, and we reached Undermine. I had to stop at one point in Undermine. For questing, I was just so burnt out, and I just decided to do delves. But regardless, I think this adventure was really fun. I think playing on controller did a complete 180 of my view of World of Warcraft. I genuinely want to play World of Warcraft now. Like, I'm having fun playing it. It's great when I get to do things. If I get too burnt out or too bored, I just switch my goal and objective. And I'm trying to meet friends on World of Warcraft. I was able to do that on Elder Scrolls Online a little bit easier. On World of Warcraft, goddamn, that's a lot harder. But we will get there, and I would like to see the progress in the future. We're finally reaching the end of this video. After a month's worth of gaming and a couple days of editing, we have reached this point in our channel where we are getting better and better with the quality. So if you guys would like this journey to continue, please comment down below letting me know what it is that you would like to see. Also, if you want to teach me and or invite me to a guild so I could learn, that would be great, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Until next time, Johnny Shrimp is out.